Good evening, everyone. Hi, Brian.
Good evening.
Hi,
Good
Elise.
evening, everyone.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi, Alicia.
Good evening.
Good evening, everybody.
Marriage 734.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. It is 7:34. Forgive our tardiness. Welcome to our Board of Aldermen Mayor meeting. I would like to call the meeting to order. In absence of the flag, may we pledge the allegiance to the flag, please. I pledge
Pledge
allegiance
allegiance
to the
To
flag
the flag of the United States,
States of America,
America.
and to the
To
republic
the republic.
to which it
for which
stands,
that stands one
one
nation,
nation,
one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
for all. Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you call the roll, please?
Semi?
Let me unmute myself. Alderwoman Von Sturgeon,
Here.
President Thomas,
Present.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward,
Present.
Alderwoman Dales,
Present.
Alderwoman Smith,
Here.
Alderwoman Hester,
Here.
and Alderwoman Warnes.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum. Unmute.
The meeting is now open to the public for 3 minutes. Comment? Okay, so we have no comments from the public. May I have approval of the agenda, please?
Marcy has her hand up, Mayor.
Oh, I'm
Right.
sorry. I'm sorry. Ms. Gooden, please state your name and address for each person, and I would ask that others, if you're not speaking, please keep your microphones muted.
Whew. Just had to figure out how to unmute myself.
Okay,
Marcy Good, 9421 Dinky Drive. I think that's what you asked for. Good evening, everyone. I just have a comment and a few kudos. I am not on Nextdoor, but I did hear about the great news that our city and our public works and our code enforcer are doing around administrative warrants. And I know it took us as a city a while to get that established, up and going, and how we were going to track it. So I guess the question is what is the city's process goal? Because, I'm not sure where all this activity took place, and it doesn't matter because it's to better the city, right? But there are properties that I have mentioned to everyone on the board the old board with the former mayor, even Joe Rabin before he left, and I've engaged Felicia, I think, on one property, and thank you for taking care of that. But there is a few properties that I have mentioned several times, and there has not been any activity. So now it seems as though the city is up and going. How do we get those addresses back on the list to be considered for an administrative warrant? That's my question. But I just want to say kudos that we're trying to work together to make our city, I don't think it'll never be what it was. And I'm a resident of 27 years. So I don't believe it'll be what it was, but I'm pretty sure it can be better than what it has been. So I'll make that note. But what do we need to do to get addresses we have mentioned before and no action has happened? How do we get those back on the list? Is the question. And we can talk about it later, but that's my question. Or I can get a response later.
Thank you, Ms. Gooden. If you would call Enforcer Bishop, and she'll be happy to sit down and talk with you, make an appointment to come into the office or just talk to her over the phone. Okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other citizens' comments? I missed anybody else's hand? Okay. So safe to say to go on? May I have a motion to approve the agenda for today's Thursday, September 7th, 2023 Board of Alderperson and Mayor's meeting, please? Alderwoman Dale?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the agenda for Thursday, September the 7th, with several motions to amend the agenda with several motions. The first motion is for a motion for ordinance 2674-2648, the 2023-24 budget after the mayor's veto. Section 216, every bill duly passed by the Board of Aldermen and presented to the mayor and by him or her approval shall become an ordinance, and every bill presented as aforesaid but returned with the mayor's objections thereto shall stand reconsidered. The Board of Aldermen shall call objections of the mayor to be entered into the lodge upon the journal and proceed of its convenience to consider the question pending, which shall be in this form. Shall the bill pass, the objections of the mayor thereto notwithstanding, the vote on this question shall be taken by the roll call with ayes and nays, and the names entered upon the journal. If 2/3 of all members shall vote in the affirmative, the city clerk shall, in the fact on the roll, and the bill thus certified be deposited with the proper officer, and shall become an ordinance in the same manner and with like as effective as it had received the approval of the mayor. The mayor shall have the power to veto. The mayor shall have the power to sign or veto any ordinance by the Board of Aldermen, provided that should he or she neglect or refuse to sign any ordinance and return the same with his or her objections in writing at the next Board of Aldermen meeting, that the same shall become law without his or her signature. And I'm asking for a roll call vote after the mayor's veto for the 2023-24 budget based on the ordinance here. May I have a roll call vote, please?
Alderwoman Warnes?
I'm sorry, Alderwoman Dales. I'm a little confused. Did you want to add the vote, or do you have a request to add the section or add after the mayor's veto the board's right to vote on whether or not to override that veto?
Yes.
Is that what? All right.
Yes.
Okay, then it would be voted on after the mayor's veto. Then the board would vote on whether or not to override it.
But this is for the motion.
She already determined.
But you skipped, I thought you were amending the agenda to add that to the agenda.
I am.
All
I am.
right, so then it would come up when we get to it. We
Okay.
still have a public hearing.
Okay, I'll continue.
Yeah,
Okay,
it would be item number 12 on the agenda.
correct. A motion to remove, okay, I'll continue. A motion to remove number 12B, a resolution of the City of Bellefonte Neighbors, Missouri, to authorize a one-time premium pay. Due to the fact, Board President, did you want to state or did you want me to state? Due to the fact that we tabled the premium pay for the staff and the board let the ball drop. And we were in closed session and we're going to rectify that. And you will be receiving payment based on what the decisions that the board come up with is going to be considered to be administrative assistant pay. Okay. And for the city clerk, the city clerk, the OFQ or the bid for the financial services with the recommendation for the city treasurer, Rick Rodman, and the former auditor, Angela Dorn, for a certified CPA firm or certified LLC with the municipal government experience, history, and background to be sent out to the public by all legal OFQ guidelines within 5 business days from the date of September the 11th, 2023, with a specific time frame answer within 30 days. To the mayor, city clerk, a motion that the OFQ for a certified municipal auditor for the 2022 audit to be sent out to the public by all legal guidelines within the next 30 days from the date of September the 11th. The OFQ to be sent out to the public by all legal OFQ guidelines within the next 30 days from the date of September the 11th for the city website, the locks for the building, for the buildings of the city hall and the recreational center, and electronic payroll sign-in for all employees of the City of Bellefonte Neighbors. Every OFQ bid will be opened by the city clerk on a specific date given to the members of the Board of Aldermen, public, and contractors. For the mayor, city administrator, a motion from July 20th, a motion regarding all bank accounts for the City of Bellefonte Neighbors, add the signature of the president of the board to all bank accounts the week of September the 18th. A motion for the Board of Aldermen, from the Board of Aldermen regarding elected officials. Only elected officials be seated on the diocese as elected by the people of the City of Bellefonte Neighbors. All others, such as the police chief, directors, appointees, will have a separate table for those. A motion for current commissions, image and beautification, and planning and zoning to be present at the next Board of Aldermen meeting, September the 20th.
Hold on, Alderwoman Dales, a point of order. What you're doing is, what I called for was approval of the agenda. So what you're saying, you are amending the agenda to add all of these motions. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And do you have them in numerical order and where they are to be placed?
I'm going to get, these here are actions that are not for the agenda, except for the current commissions, image and beautification, and planning and zoning to be present at the next Board of Aldermen meeting.
So what we're doing, point of order again, please. This is for the approval of the agenda.
With an amendment.
With the amendment. So what you're needing to do is you're adding all of these motions. They need to be stated where to be added in numerical order. And so you're stating what they are. These are amendments to be added, but if you haven't stated for either one where they're supposed to be added up under, what number, So all of that needs to be stated.
These are motions for actions to be done by the city clerk and the mayor. These are for RFQs to be sent out, not for the agenda. I'm adding the motions to them for the board to vote on them after I finish.
But
These are
again,
the same. These are, okay, then we can vote on them after the
Approval.
motions.
approval of the agenda first. You're making amendments to add these motions. So there need to be in the numerical order and where these amendments are done. So the approval of the agenda, you're making these amendments. So you need to state where these amendments to be made on the agenda and under what topic they're supposed to be amended.
Again, these are requests for the city clerk and the mayor city administrator to send out the RFQs. They will not be on the agenda.
I know, but exactly. So we're at the point we are at number 5, which it says the approval of the agenda. And that's
With an amendment.
items. That's the action items we should be working through. It's the approval of the agenda with adding these motions. And they need to be in numerical order and under what subject title.
I'm adding them to the agenda with an amendment. And after I state them all, I'm asking for a roll call because these are actions. And the last one is for the next regular Board of Aldermen meeting, so they wouldn't go under anything.
Well, that's what I'm stating. We're on the approval. Attorney White Coleman, could you interject? We're at the approval of the agenda. And if you're making amendments and adding all of these motions, they need to be stated what number and where. These are actions.
Okay, I can do that. I can do that.
You're stating actions, and we're at approval of the agenda.
I can do that.
With amendment.
I can do that.
So is that clear? Everybody has clarity on that? Attorney Coleman, could you make that clearer so the public and the board to know what's being done?
Yes, Mayor. I think Alderwoman Dales understands what she needs to do at this point. Just very clearly state what your motion is and where it should be placed on the agenda.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about placing the board vote on overriding the veto as number 12.
Right.
So where would you place your other motions? That's the question.
Okay, the RFQs, the first one was for the city clerk. She will receive an email, and she will receive an email from the board for all of these because these are actions which are requests for qualifications. They're not going on the agenda. The only thing that's going on the agenda is a motion for the current commissions, Image and Beautification, and Planning and Zoning to be present at the next Board of Aldermen meeting, September the 21st, 2023 for reappointments. So nothing is going on the agenda.
So that's what I'm saying. So we're at the approval of the agenda, and that's why I called the point of order. Attorney Coleman?
Yes, I agree with that. Only what you want to be placed on the agenda should be stated.
Okay. The motion for the current commissions, Image and Beautification, and Planning and Zoning to be present at the next Board of Aldermen meeting, September the 21st, 2023 for reappointments.
So you're making that a agenda item for today.
For next
Okay,
meeting.
so that's what I'm saying. You're putting that on for the next meeting. We're looking at present agenda items to work through. The agenda for today is what we need to be concentrating on.
Did you want to vote on that, Alderwoman Dales?
We would have to vote on the motions.
You want to vote on the motion?
Yes.
So then it would be, it would not be under old business. It would come probably before the unfinished business.
Which is after the mayor's veto, and that's the only item that's on there, which is
Well,
the first
no,
one that I read.
I'm sorry, if I said after, I meant before the unfinished business. That would be the place for your motion because it's a new motion, correct?
No, these are old ones.
Oh, so then if it's old, then you can put it under old business.
Okay, I'll put them under old business before we do under item 12.
You can put it in place of B since you're removing that.
Okay, we can do that. We can do that. And I'll put those items, the motions, other than the motion for the ordinance 2674, 2648, that comes directly after the mayor's veto. That would be a vote. And then the motions for all the old RFQs can go under old business after we vote for the Conoco.
And then I would ask whether the city clerk is clear on what's being voted on.
Of course not. You're all over the place.
I can send it to you in an email.
I appreciate it.
If it's going to be on the agenda, it needs to be stated now.
Okay.
I just stated them.
Well, you're gonna put all of that on the agenda now, and we're voting on it.
Yeah, they're just motions for RFQs.
Oh, okay. Well, you need to state each motion so I can do the roll call then, okay? I'm sorry.
Okay.
Thank
That's
you.
what I asked for.
Yep.
You want me to start over?
Go ahead, please.
Okay.
First motion.
A motion for ordinance for 2674/2648 for the 2023-24 budget after the mayor's veto. That's going to be after the mayor's veto at 11.
Roll call. Sorry. President Thomas. Oh. President Thomas?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward.
I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt again. I don't mean to interrupt again, but you can't vote on each item that you want to add separately.
That's what I was saying.
They need to be stated, and then the vote needs to be taken on the motion to amend the agenda with those items.
Exactly.
Okay.
That's
exactly what I was saying. I would like to approve the agenda with an amendment.
Okay, but the clerk needs to understand what the motions are that you are adding to the agenda.
I understand now. I thought we had to vote on separate, but I do understand everything she stated.
Okay, good.
Okay, yeah. All right, let's start over. President Thomas. Let me say it, yes.
Yes.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward.
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales.
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Alderwoman Hester.
No.
Alderwoman Warnes.
Warnes, you're on mute.
Alderwoman Warnes.
No.
Alderwoman Von Surgen.
Yes.
5 yes and 2 no's, Mayor.
We need to get a second.
Second.
For.
the amended agenda.
I second.
Thank you.
Alderman Ward, okay. Roll call,
Huh? What about questions?
there,
Oh my,
Alderwoman Hester?
Hester.
I'm sorry, I wasn't on mute. I do have a question. I couldn't constantly say yes to any of that because it was all over the place. I'm confused and I'm trying to figure out what was all the stuff that we adding to the agenda. No. I just had to put that out there for the record. So no, definitely. I just had to say that.
Is there any more discussions? Let's do roll call vote.
President Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith,
Yes.
Alderwoman Hester,
No.
Alderwoman Warnes,
No.
Alderwoman Von Surgen.
Yes.
Okay. 5-2, Mayor. Mayor, you're on mute.
To make it clear, Alderwoman Dales, because the motion was not clear, there were several. If you could send that statement over.
I will. I'll send it to Simi.
Okay, and so clerk, if you would state what the vote would cover. Would it cover 5 yes, 2 no's, 2, now state the motion. City clerk?
I'm sorry. If I'm correct, it covered the mayor's veto. And it covered the RFQs for CPAs and RFQ for the auditors. And also, if I'm not mistaken, it covered that was resolution, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct, Alderwoman Dales?
Yes. Yes, and the old motions that we had for July the 20th. And that was regarding the bank accounts for the yes, and for the motion for the individuals for the elected officials to sit on the diocese, and also for image and beautification and planning and zoning to be at the next month.
Okay. And please send that over.
I'm going to send it to you now.
All right.
Okay, so citizens would know those were motions that were voted on. Now we'll move down to public hearing. I'm going to vacate the chair and ask Alderman Thomas to chair this portion of the meeting, and it's a public hearing for conditional use for Tawana Austin Royalty Cafe and Event Center at 9312 Lewis and Clark Boulevard. So I'll vacate the seat and let Alderman Thomas chair this portion, and I'll regain the chair seat to finish the rest of the meeting.
Yes, the mayor vacated the seat because she's part of that litigation. But the public hearing, conditional use permit for Tawana Austin Royalty Cafe and Event Center, 9312 Lewis and Clark Boulevard. Is Ms. Austin available?
She is online, President Thomas.
Okay. The A of 6 says project description by the applicant. So if she could explain what her business is.
Hold on, yeah.
Ye-
Okay.
Go
Can you
ahead,
hear
Ms.
me
Austin.
now? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So Royalty Cafe and Event Center is actually a family-owned restaurant that we just want to bring the family element back together. Stop with so much fast food, and you can actually come in here, sit down, and have a home-cooked meal. And then the event space is just a place in your neighborhood where you can come and have your birthday parties or meetings or whatever. So we just won't. We're just trying to bring the family element back. That's all.
Okay. Now calls for public comments. City Clerk, can you recognize the public comments for me, please?
I'm sorry.
Ooh, Marcy
Mo-
has her hands up.
Okay, let me get off mute. Hello, everyone again.
Hello.
So my statement is this. The building has been changed hands several times. And I have had an opportunity to talk with. I've had yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry. So I was just stating, I know the building has changed hands several times. I live just half a mile from the building, so we've seen it change hands. We know that the business been open before and offered some services. And I, as a citizen and a taxpayer, and this is the same type of comment I made from the last company that was there that we don't have to talk about, but I just want to let the owner know that I know it's a new owner of the building. What I just want to make sure you're going into the building with this great business that you have outlined for us, and that the owner and the new owner now of the building do right by their client. The building has been pieced together, but I know that probably can change with the new owner. But we just want to make sure overall. I know I was at the planning and zoning meeting. You talked detailed about your business. So I believe that it will complement our area and not demise. So I just want to say, I welcome it to the area based on your objectives, right? Family owned. So I welcome it to the area, but I just want to let you know that I just hope the new owner does right by sustaining the building, allowing the building to remain clean and just pick up and keep the view of the building clean. That's all I'm asking. And my vision has changed from last time, so I'm all in. As long as we can make sure as citizens, we're driving down and it's not an eyesore, but something good for the community. So I just wanted to share that with you and hope it all works out.
Thank you.
Just in time, Marcy, just in time.
Good, I timed it.
Hello.
Okay, if there's no more public comments, we'll give the board time to discuss. Comments from the board? I did have one. Ms. Austin, the planning and zoning had requested that you, if approved, that you take all of your paperwork out to St. Louis County and have it filed. Were you aware of that?
This is my first time hearing about that. What
Okay.
paperwork are they saying needs to be filed?
Pat, can you give that list? I don't have it right here in front of me. Pat Barrett will give you the list, Miss Austin. Go ahead, Pat.
There we go, got unmuted. The documents to be filed with the St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds, and this is per ordinance. This is not made up especially for you. This is a part of the city code. The conditional use permit would be recorded, the site plan, the legal description of the property, the out boundary survey, and any subsequent amendments to be recorded with the St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds. And once that's done, he would bring back proof of recording. It's something that has happened before. Basically, the documents that you sent us, along with the ordinance that you'll receive or may receive, those would be recorded with the St. Louis County Recorder of Deeds.
Okay, so
Thank you,
as
Pat.
I'm not the landlord of the building, so wouldn't that be something that the owner would do?
You are the person who would be granted the conditional use permit. This would be your responsibility.
So if I could ask a question, Miss Austin?
Yes.
Yes. Are you clear on the paperwork that he's talking about? Because he's saying it's the same paperwork that you provided to planning and zoning to bring you to this.
I mean, yes, that's
stage.
fine. But I mean, I could have
Okay,
done
and
this
that's
2 weeks ago. I'm just
no,
knowing
no.
about this
You
now.
you can't turn the paperwork in until you're granted the conditional use
Conditional use.
permit.
Okay, got it.
All right. I just want to make sure you was clear on that. All right. Thanks, Pat. Alderwoman Hester.
Yes, I have a question for Tawana. Thank you for coming and presenting your case. I do have a question, however. How would your business impact the surrounding neighbors or the neighborhood in terms of volume and hours of event
So
time?
the restaurant will be open Tuesday, Wednesday, and Fridays from 5 to 10. So in the evening, usually, you know, like on Tuesdays, we may get 20, 30 customers. The weekends, Fridays may be a little busier. Some people dine in, some people just do carry out. It shouldn't be any different than the gas station across the street. I shouldn't have more traffic than they do over there. So I mean, I've never had any issues with anybody complaining about the volume of the traffic. And then with the events, usually I make sure that we are abiding by the ordinance and making sure that it's not too loud or things like that. So I'm not sure what what would be different from the previous tenant that was here, other than I have all my licenses and everything.
Okay. And then one last thing, have you did an analysis, not really an analysis, so I'm probably using the wrong term, of the pros and cons of the business in the area in terms of the neighborhood?
No, not really, because I've been catering for over 25 years, so people gonna come wherever I'm at. So when I wasn't able to use this space, I have 4 other commercial properties. So I just transferred my business over there.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. You're welcome.
This is board discussion, Marcy, I'm sorry. If you wanted to put your question in the chat, Marcy, one of us may ask it for you. Anybody else? Okay, first, Peg, Alderwoman Waters.
Okay, am I understanding that there is no outside dining, that everything will take place within the building? And what is your, what's the number of people that your restaurant can hold?
No, there won't be any outside events. And I'm actually going to go look. The occupancy, I think, is 384 standing room, but of course I would not have that many people in here. And I'm thinking comfortably 125 that's seated.
And I'm just looking at what I have here in front of me. There's no smoking in the building. There's no liquor,
No.
the alcohol
I
to be
don't
served.
drink. I don't want it around me, so no.
Okay. I'm sorry, what did you say about holding outdoor events? No?
No.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Alderwoman Dale.
To Miss Austin, we welcome you. We've had you here before, so we're proud to have you here in Ward 4. We have been up there, so those in the community online, the food is good.
Thank you.
It's clean. It's a family business, and we want to promote her in her business. And thank you for coming to the City of Bellefonte Neighbors.
Thank you.
Ms. Austin, question, are you aware of the ordinance about noise within the 100 feet of the building?
I'm aware now.
Okay.
Alderwoman Hester has her hand up, President Thomas.
All right. Any more questions from the board?
Yeah, I have one, Alderwoman Thomas. Last one, if it's okay. Okay. Miss Austin, have you done a it sounds like the event, and yes, the event is in Ward 4, and are the residents in Ward 4, it sounds like they are in favor of you coming in the area. Have you done a survey with them or done some advertisement?
I have. A lot of people in the neighborhoods, the street right behind us, the ones on the side of Advance have all been patronizing. They've been trying to figure out what's been going on these last couple of months. I've had several of them to actually have a birthday party. They had a Mother's Day brunch. So yeah, the business it's been, since I've been here, I've been booked almost every weekend until we had to pivot. So I don't have an issue with the business at all. And we've never had any nuisance or the police being called for us being too loud.
Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else? Can we have a motion?
I'd like to make a motion that we approve the CUP for Royalty Cafe Event and Event Center at 9312 Lewis and Clark.
Can I get a second?
I'm sorry, can I interject at this point? The motion would actually be to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to, yes, I can. I'd like to make a motion to accept the recommendation of the CUP for the Royalty Cafe and Event Center at 9312 Lewis and Clark Boulevard.
A motion has been made. Is there a second?
I second.
Motion has been made and properly second to accept the recommendation of the Planning and Zoning Commission for the Royalty Cafe and Event Center at 9312 Lewis and Clark Boulevard. Can we have a roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk?
President Thomas?
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales?
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith?
Yes.
Alderwoman Hester,
Yes.
Alderwoman Warnes,
Yes.
Alderwoman Von Surgeon.
Yes.
All right.
Herman Ward?
And oh, there you are, Herman Ward.
Yes.
Ward, yes. Okay. 7 yes. President Thomas. Motion passed.
All right. All right. Thank you, Ms. Austin. Your
Thank you.
cup has passed, and the city clerk, I believe, and I guess Pat Barrett and the attorney will be getting with you for the further paperwork.
Alderman Thomas, if I could
will-
interject, at the next meeting, the board will have an ordinance to approve granting the cup.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Did you hear that, Ms. Austin?
Another ordinance to approve it.
Yeah, we have to vote one more time.
Right. Okay. When is the next meeting?
It'll be the 21st, the 21st of September,
Okay.
which is
So-
actually our night for a town hall meeting, so it'll be over in the rec center.
Okay. So
All right.
I have to go file this paperwork. So will I have the paperwork before?
No,
the
you
next-
don't file the paperwork until after you get this paperwork.
Okay.
You broke up.
So you said I don't file. The
Are you
paperwork.
saying, will you have the paperwork before then?
Yes, to file it.
No.
Right, it's not understanding you don't file the paperwork until the ordinance is passed.
Passed. Okay, gotcha.
Okay. All right. We turn the meeting back over to the mayor.
Good evening, everyone. I'm now taking over as chair, and we'll move further along on the agenda. The next item is item number 11, which is the bill number 2674, ordinance 2648, the mayor's veto message. I'll read that in its entirety. To the members of the Board of Aldermen, from Mayor Dinah L. Tatman, veto of bill number 2674, ordinance 2678. I am returning herewith bill number 2674, ordinance 2648, entitled an ordinance adopting the budget for the year 2023 fiscal year for the city of Bellefontaine Neighbors, Missouri, which the Board of Aldermen passed with 5 affirmative votes and 2 negative votes at the special call meeting of the board, which was held via Zoom on Thursday, August 31st, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. In accordance with my authority as mayor of Bellefontaine Neighbors, I hereby notify you that I decline to sign bill number 2674, ordinance 2678, and hereby veto the same and return it to you for further consideration as provided by law. I firmly believe that adopting this bill is not the best interest of the city of Bellefontaine Neighbors citizens, employees, and the executive body. It lacks funds for community events, essential employees, and adequate monies for police recruitment and community engagement. Also, whereas Missouri State Statute 79.120 and the city ordinance number 2618, section 2-47 and section 2-48 gives the executive branch specific powers and duties free from the interference of the legislative branch. This bill seeks to usurp that authority. For reasons stated herein, I hereby return bill number 2674, ordinance 2648, unexecuted, and hereby refuse to approve the same. Signed, Mayor Dinah L. Tatman, dated 9/5/2023. The next item on the agenda is a vote to overturn veto message that was just read for bill number 74 and ordinance 2648. The next agenda item, may I have a motion to put forth the vote to overturn the veto message that was just read?
I make a motion to overturn the veto message for the budget for the 2023-2024 budget.
And may
Ordinance number, bill number 2674, ordinance number 2648.
may I have a second, please?
I second.
Are there any questions? Roll call vote, please. Madam Clerk?
President Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith,
Yes.
Alderwoman Hester,
No.
Alderwoman Warnes,
No.
Alderwoman Von Surgeon.
Yes.
5 yes, 2 noes, Mayor. Motion passed.
So the motion fails. There needs to be a vote of 6 to override a veto. So the vote, five,
It says 2/3, which is 5.
I'll refer to our legal counsel.
Under the authority of Brady versus Zitch, 702 Southwest 2D 491, a 2/3 vote is required, and that vote is of those that could be elected. The fact that you are short one member on your board does not change the supermajority number.
That's not what our ordinance says.
I'm telling you what the case law says. I gave you the cite for it, and the ordinance says 2/3 also.
It does, which is 5. So the ordinance did pass.
Alderwoman Dales, I disagree with you. The case law says that it requires a supermajority, and the supermajority includes those elected who could vote. So the fact that you are short a member does not change the number.
Based on our ordinance, it says 2/3.
Yes.
Point of order. Our legal counsel has stated case law, and so the motion fails, and any further discussion can be made at a later time.
Point of order. The board
I
of
got a
aldermen
question
has
for the
spoken.
attorney.
Yes.
So this means we don't have a budget, correct?
Yes, if the mayor vetoes it, yes.
Correct.
And so we continue.
So the board, another attorney question. So the board would have to vote again to still operate off the 22 budget?
The old budget would remain in effect. It's the new budget that didn't pass.
So we will continue to operate off of the 2022-2023 budget until a further notice and passing of a new budget. Okay, the next item on the agenda is under unfinished business. We moved those two things down. And we moved the approval of application for liquor license for Conoco. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the liquor license for the Conoco gas station address, Madam Clerk?
I think I have that address available. Like, hold on, Mayor.
Mm-hmm.
10320 Bell Fountain Road,
So-
6337.
Okay. May I have a motion to approve the liquor license for the Conoco gas station located at 112
No, 10320 Bell Fountain.
10320 Shepley Drive,
Bell Fountain Road, Mayor.
Bell Fountain Road. I'm sorry.
I lost my spot.
I'm sorry.
There you go.
So there's no motion?
I'd like to make a motion to approve the liquor license for Conoco.
I'll second that.
Are there any discussion? Roll call vote, please, Madam Clerk.
President Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
Alderwoman Smith,
Yes, however, Alderwoman Hester had her hand up. You guys didn't recognize her when she asked
Oh.
about discussions.
I'm sorry.
I didn't.
Alderwoman Hester, can we go back and let her have her question, please? Thank you, Alderwoman Smith, for helping me. See where I can see.
Thank you. So this Conoco, they're renewing their liquor license, correct?
They did not have one.
Right.
Oh,
They did not have one.
oh, okay. Okay, I'm trying to get my bearings right.
The one on Shepley and Bell Fountain.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Okay, let me look real good. Are there any other questions, please? So I'm sorry, Madam Clerk, would you name and go through the roll call vote, please?
Okay. President Thomas was yes. Alderwoman Dales was a yes. Alderwoman Smith was a yes. Alderwoman Hester,
No.
Alderwoman Warnes,
Yes.
Alderwoman Von Surden.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I got it. And Foreman Ward.
Yes.
I don't know how I forget you all the time.
That's okay.
I have 6 yes and 1 no.
Thank you. So we have come to the end of our agenda. Alderman's report.
Alderwoman Smith has her hand up.
Yes, Alderwoman
I
Smith.
just have a question in regards to the agenda, and I have no problems with the agenda, but I'm looking at mine and it's missing the bills. Is there a reason why we have no bills?
Yes, because we closed the building.
But you say that the
we don't-
employees were working still, so
Yeah.
why don't we have any bills?
Well, she's working to a certain point, but no financial accounts are assessed from home. And as far as cutting checks, that's not done at home, but she has been able to do the ledger.
Okay.
Okay.
Madam, we have the RFQs
I'm sorry.
that was moved. We have the
Okay.
RFQs that were moved, the motions that were moved to be
Yeah.
voted on.
Yes.
Okay, the first one is Well, since we don't have a budget, I guess we can't get a city treasurer, or I guess we could send out the RFQ, but that's in the new budget. And the budget was for a RFQ for financial services, recommendations by the city treasurer, Rick Rodman. So again, we won't be having a finance clerk in the office with the city clerk. However, we can send out the RFQ for a certified municipal auditor for the audits, for the 22 audit to be sent out to the public by all legal guidelines within the next 30 days from the date of September the 11th, and I would like a roll call.
And for clarification, Alderwoman Dales, I want to state those RFQs were sent out, how long ago? Has it been 3 weeks, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks, City Clerk?
For the auditor?
Yes.
I cannot recall, Mayor.
I think it was
it's been about 3 weeks. I am
about
sorry.
3 weeks. Yeah, about 3 weeks ago.
I've
So
been responding to you and not me. That's okay, 3 weeks.
yeah, so it's been 3 weeks and we've received 2 already, so that has already been done. So
Is that going to be opened up in the public?
the
City clerk?
We're gonna go by what our ordinance requires. Yes, we'll be going by the proper guidelines. So that action has already been taken care of. And for further clarification, Alderwoman Dales, we do have money in the present budget to do things that need to be done. As you know, the mayor and the board can move funds around at any given time. So keep that in mind. It's not just the existing budget is not prohibited, because the board of all the persons and the mayor can move funds around.
That would be something that we would have to ask the board. So I would ask the board if, and I could do I'll put the motion out, and we could take a roll call vote on it.
Well, we didn't add it to the agenda that way, so
okay,
we'll
we can
do that at the next meeting.
Okay, that's fine.
Any funds that are to be moved, of course, has to be voted on. Unencumbered funds is differently, but we can discuss that. Go ahead with the rest of your motion.
The RFQ to be sent out to the public by all legal RFQ guidelines within the next 30 days from the date September 11th for the city website, for the locks for the building for City Hall and the Recreational Center, and electronic payroll sign-in. And the reason why we're asking for this again is we're down to almost a year and 3 months that we have to use the COVID funds, and we don't want to drop the ball on this. So we're asking that those RFQs go out, and that every RFQ will be opened up by the city clerk on a specific day given to the members of the Board of Aldermen, public, and contractors.
And some of those actions have been taken. Director Kennerich has been working on the website. That action is already in play as well for the website and the cameras. So again, we will be following the proper guidelines when it comes to opening up the bids for that. Your next one, please.
The motion from July the 20th, and this is just a reminder, a motion regarding all bank accounts for the city of Bellflower Neighbors, add the signature of the president of the Board of Aldermen to all bank accounts during the week of September the 18th. And again, the motion for the Board of Aldermen regarding elected officials only to sit on the diocese, and a motion for current commissions, image and beautification, and planning and zoning to be present at the next Board of Aldermen meeting, September the 21st, 2023. We added the image and beautification to the Parks Department under the new budget. So we're paying them illegally while they're still active.
Yes, and we, let me speak to that. Any alterations from boards and commissions, the Rexton Park Board is autonomous. Any decisions pertaining to actions at the rec center is under the preview and decisions of the Parks and Rec Board. So we can't just add that entity or make that change. That's an item that will be taken up by the Parks and Recs Board. I'll have city clerk to send you that ordinance over that states the verbiage that I just stated, that the Parks and Recs Board are the ones who makes decisions as far as additions, programming, and other things pertaining to the rec center.
If I'm not mistaken, the Board of Aldermen has to create an ordinance to add the image and beautification to the Parks Board.
Well,
am I right or wrong?
Well, we'll discuss that later because that's not proper. We'll talk about that. We don't want to belabor that. This is another thing we can talk about and look at our ordinances together. Okay? Your next motion?
No.
Okay, your next motion?
That was it, but no.
Okay.
No, because that's in the ordinance. It says the Board of Aldermen is the one that would have to write that ordinance. So we can add that. How about we just add that to the next agenda?
Yeah, after it's discussed, of course. Yes, we can. Okay, so is that the end of your motion?
Absolutely.
Okay, so do we have any reports from the Board of Aldermen?
We're supposed to take a roll call vote on that. Simi has them.
Okay.
Jesus, we ready?
It's the same thing that we had. It's just not being done because we have, in case of an emergency, if something happens to the mayor, we only have one signature.
No, we have two signatures, and as far as, and I'll acquiesce to the legal counsel as far as adding the board president. That's not an ordinance. So
okay, she can answer.
Yeah,
she can answer that.
Yeah,
she can answer.
That's not an action that'll be taken. Attorney White Coleman, can you speak to that, please? And the question is, can the board president be added to the bank account without an ordinance stating so?
Yes, we looked at the ordinance and what it specifies, and the ordinance did not include the board president. At the time, I think the board voted to authorize the board president to be a signatory on the account. We did not have a treasurer. So the board president was put in that place instead. But the ordinance currently does not include the board president. It can certainly be amended if that's the board's desire.
If I recall, when we opened up the bank accounts, the treasurer specifically said he would not be signing the checks. And when we saw the checks that his name was added to it, we have never voted for that. And the board has to vote for that. So I don't know how the bank changed the accounts without the board voting on it. And Rockman is on he said he's not signing the checks and he should have never been added. So we can amend the ordinance to add the board president and take out the treasurer.
I agree with that, Alderwoman Dales. You can certainly do that.
Thank you.
That would have to be passed by ordinance. Thank you. You finished?
I guess.
Okay, now, are there any board, let's go to the vote for those items. And keeping in mind, we need to name them. We've had discussions about adding the board president, about removing everybody from the dais except for the elected officials. Madam Clerk, do you have the others?
the auditor RFQ,
which, yeah, we stated, the
With-
RFQ, yeah.
and locks for the rec and city hall,
Mhm.
electronic payroll. 720, all bank accounts add signature of the board president and elected officials on the day off,
Right.
only the elected officials.
All righty. So there has been motions put on the floor. Any questions? Well, maybe we have a second first. I'm so. Can we have a second?
I second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. Any questions or any more discussion on these matters? Okay, call the roll, Madam Clerk.
Alderwoman Hester,
Sorry, give me a moment. No.
Alderwoman Warnes,
No.
Alderwoman Von Surgen,
Yes.
President Thomas,
Yes.
Alderwoman Harmon Ward,
Yes.
Alderwoman Dales,
Yes.
and Alderwoman Smith.
Yes.
Okay. 5-2, Mayor.
Okay, so those motions that are legal will be adhered to, those not, we abstain from, and we can discuss those at further meeting. Now, do we have any reports from the alderperson? Alderwoman Hester.
I don't, so I have a report, not really in a report, but I do have a question for the attorney, and then I'll make my closing remarks or whatever.
Okay.
Is that okay?
Yes,
Okay, and maybe this is an attorney question, I don't know. Is it legal to make as many motions as you want to on the agenda,
Yes.
to amend? It is, is that the attorney said that, yes?
Alderwoman Hester, there's nothing that precludes a board member from making a number of motions, but they should be clear and everyone should be very clear on what they're voting for. But there's nothing illegal about making a number of motions or nothing that prohibits that under Robert's Rules of Order, which this board is governed by.
And the only reason I'm asking that is because I was confused earlier. It was just a whole lot of reading, reciting, and then bouncing to something else, and then something else. I just got lost in my notes, and I'm like, okay, I've got to stop taking notes at a certain point. So that's why I asked. And I'll be going to training next week. So I'll be asking additional questions about city business. But I just want to thank everybody for tuning in, being a part of this meeting. I know it seems like we're not on the same page. Just keep in mind that we do have a job to do here, and we're not going to agree on every single thing, but it is our job to conduct city business and keep and make sure that we do our due diligence and the right thing by our citizens when we're voting on different things, passing different things. I do know in the budget that I voted no on had several different things that I would like to have seen in the budget that were not in the budget, like money for different community events that was taken out. Another thing was money for the police department. If we have to recruit surrounding cities, put money into their budget in order to bring in people that are to protect and reliable, not just anybody. So we want to make sure that we have money in there for the police department in terms of recruiting
and any community events that they want to go to, like the safety summit. They were there and they had a whole table there to advertise and say, hey, we are a part of the community, and we're, if you want information, you can come to us, and this is where you can get it. And they also, if you came up to the table, they introduced themselves. So I thought that was great. And then I think that was, and then we kind of, the hazard pay, we're dealing with that. But those two main things for sure. So, and again, thank you all for tuning in, and I hope you come back. And again, thanks.
Okay, Alderman Thomas. Alderman Thomas?
Good evening. Yes, I'm here. Good evening. I want to thank everyone for coming out on tonight. It's disheartening that the mayor would veto the budget after the board spent the time to go through the budget and pass the budget. The items that the mayor talked about, essential employees, within the budget, we did put 2 more public work employees into the budget. We discussed with the chief, who was present at the budget meeting where we're passing the budget, if the $5,000 amount was enough for police recruitment for now. And he stated yes. The other thing is community engagement. In the past, when community engagement has been brought to the board, it's been voted on by the board at the time before the event. It was listed in the budget before it was changed as the mayor's community events. We asked the mayor at that time, and she said that she would get the funds to have those community events, because the majority of the time it isn't really attended by a lot of people from Bellefontaine neighbors. And I'm gonna leave it at that, but I'm very disheartened that the mayor would veto the budget after the board worked. So I had one question. Mayor, you stated about 2 meetings ago that when we asked you about the credit card, or I asked you about the credit card that would be issued by the bank, you said it was in process. Is that process still going on, or have you received a credit card from the bank?
All credit cards have been received. It's been about a week or 2 weeks.
So you do have a credit card at this time?
Yes. All new credit cards have been.
Okay. Because we kept receiving payments that you wanted back on your personal card for things that you had purchased.
Yes.
So we won't receive any of those bills anymore?
No, sir. And those were reimbursed under reimbursement ordinance.
Well, they were taken out of the budget, so we didn't pay you back. And then the other thing is, to the employees that might be listening, to the directors that are listening, what we did find out was that we dropped the ball on November the 11th. The hazardous pay was tabled. I did vote no. Everybody else that was present voted yes to table it. So it was never brought back up. So what we found out from, it wasn't ever brought back up. What we found out was that we couldn't pay the way that we wanted to, because it was at my request that we put the hazard pay on this agenda. So we are working, and do know that you will receive some amounts of money. It's not called hazard pay anymore. I believe it's called prospective pay or something of that nature. But know that you will receive it. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Thomas. Alderwoman Dale.
Okay, and about the budget, I went back over what we did last year, and as far as recruitment, the police don't come to the events that we have for the city. When they receive right now 60,000 plus, so we had an opportunity to hire either 4, 5, or 6, and I think we're at our limit now based on what they're being paid. So the only time that we can recruit is if somebody is terminated or leaves based on the budget. All events come before the board, and there's certain events that the mayor holds. She stated that she got all donations. So it will come before the board if that event wants to be for the city. And my colleague mentioned that we took the mayor's money. The money that we have are the taxpayers, and everything that we do is for the city. It doesn't belong to the mayor, to the board of aldermen, or a particular alderman. It's for the city. Every event is for the city. It's not for a particular person. We do work together. We have certain things. This is why it's called the Board of Aldermen meeting. So it may seem as though things are confusing, but we have to add these things on, because if we don't get the things done by December the 12th, by December of 2024, then we lose the money. And we've been asking for certain things to be done. And I don't know what we're going to do about the budget, because I don't think it's going to change. And we're going to do everything that we can to get the staff the money that they deserve. And we did drop the bucket, and I'm sorry for that to the staff that we are listening at, that are listening. And I totally disagree with our attorney about the 2/3 vote. So we'll have a conversation tomorrow, because I do not agree with her, along with other things. Like 1 year we could get a bonus, next year we can't get a bonus for the staff, because that was incorrect. So it's certain things I just do not agree with our attorney on that. On the nicer note, the city of Riverview Gardens, city of Riverview is having a parade. I think it's probably going to be on their website. I'm hoping everybody will attend, because they are trying to do some different things in that community. The the homecoming should be this month for the school district of Riverview Gardens. So if you can, come out and support on the street the kids when they're walking by in the parade. It's nice every year. And thank everyone for coming out. And we really, really appreciate you all. Thank you very much.
Any other alderman reports?
Mayor, my hand is up.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Alderwoman Smith.
So to those that have contacted me in regards to the huge tree that fell on the road of Chain of Rocks, I did address the tree. I did call the St. Louis County Department, Streets Department. They are very well aware of the tree and plan to remove the tree. Many of you have called in regards to your trash can, and why did you receive a notice in regards to your trash can? It's an ordinance in regards to the trash can and about moving the trash cans to the side of your home or away from the street. So I want everyone to be aware of that. And as everyone else said, thank you to the public for everyone that is coming or has come in regards to the veto and the budget. I agree and disagree with a lot. However, police recruitment, many of you are aware of what I do for my 9 to 5, but recruitment is something in our own community. Miss Alderwoman Hester mentioned the Safety Summit and how they had a table. Our events for our police department is free. So recruiting, and when you're talking about funds in a budget, usually it's for swag, and swag are things that you give away to the public. Those things do cost. I requested and have requested several times for different receipts in regards to what kind of budget do you spend? Like Alderwoman Dale stated, it is very disheartening to see others come to our own events and do not see our own department. In regards to the police department, I personally have asked in regards to several different events, why weren't they there? And the answer I received was, we weren't invited. I didn't know they needed an invite to their own community events, but whatever. Outside of that, the essential employees are something every municipality and every job needs. So I agree to having essential employees, but what would those employees be? And if they are like a 911, then some of those things do need to be contracted out. So the bottom line, the things that I saw in the budget personally, the budget was a balanced budget. There were a lot of things that I disagreed with, but provided as the community wanted those things. And that's what we are here to do, is serve the community. One of those things was a cash register printed receipt for those that come to our rec center. They do receive a printout from the printer and not an actual cash register receipt, but they wanted chairs and different things. I am not there at the rec center 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So whatever they need, I was able to support. And again, those were things that citizens and people in the community wanted and asked for. So yeah, as your elected official, you agree to those things. Outside of that, I digress. Again, thank you for coming. I know it seemed a little bit confusing in the beginning, but a lot of these things were discussions that we've had and been trying to have for months. And in regards to, I've been reading the comments in the chat in regards to the hazardous pay. Yes, I agree with everyone that's on the board. You guys will receive some sort of pay. Don't feel that you are not appreciated. However, I work a 9 to 5. So when I don't feel appreciated, I do make those comments, and then the decision is up to me to stay or go. That's my choice. So outside of that, I thank everyone and good night.
Any other alderpersons reports?
No.
I will say something.
Yes, Alderwoman Warner.
Yes. There's a couple observations that I've made, and one of them concerns tonight's meeting. I can't go into detail about the closed meeting beforehand, but the same type of behavior existed there that has existed in the open meeting. We have too many people who want to be the boss. We want, all of us want, we can't form subcommittees to work on an issue and then bring them back to the group. And we are wasting valuable time and getting very little done because we have too many people who want to be in charge. Everybody can have a chance to be in charge, but not everybody can be in charge over the same things. And I think we would accomplish so much more. Second of all, I voted against the budget, and other people have talked about the police. If you ask people what is one major concern that they have in our city, is crime. And yet we are cutting the police budget. That concerns me. Not having any money allocated to specific community events. We need community. We need each other to make things work. And when we take away community events, we take away some of that camaraderie that could be formed. Second of all, next is we have money that we're hazard pay that we're paying, and all of those things, very important. But nobody has mentioned that we gave alder people a raise in this budget. If, somebody will say, well, they haven't had a raise for 20 years. There are many municipalities in which their alder people are paid nothing. So it varies from city to city, but when we need money for police, we need money for community events, we don't need money to pay for some of these things and say, well, I'm going to get paid for it. That's not the reason I ran to be an alder person, so I could get extra pay. So that disturbs me. And there's other things that other people had mentioned. But I feel like we're lost. And I have to say, I think our mayor is trying. I think our code enforcer is fabulous, working with Jeff Ross for the Public Works Department. Simi is spinning like a top, trying to get everything done for everybody, but we're not working together. And we're afraid somebody else is going to get something before you get it or I get it. And that puts us in a position of not accomplishing much. So end of homily, end of sermon. Thank you for coming, and don't give up on us. Hopefully we will move forward soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderwoman Warnes. Alderwoman Von Sergen.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Thank you all for coming. I just have a couple quick things. We, as the elected officials, we need to work together. We need to compromise. I know people don't like to compromise, but we all need to compromise. We are here for the city and for the citizens and for the city employees. I just hope that we can move forward and we can start accomplishing things that need to be done for our city. Everybody have a good evening. Thank you.
You as well.
Thank you, Alderwoman Von Sergen. Are there any other reports from the board of alderpersons?
No.
Okay, in closing, I just want to say that there is an art of compromise. And that art is everybody wins. I stated, so I won't go back over the reasons for vetoing this budget. There is a clear demarcation in powers and duties of the branches of government. The legislative board has certain powers and duties that can't be usurped by the executive board. The executive board is given powers and duties free from interference of the legislative board. So when you start usurping the authority from one area of government to the other, it causes challenges. The other, I want to, and this is the last thing I'm going to say, we voted to operate off of the current budget. And actually in that budget is more money for certain things that the citizens have been asking for. We did a good job on this budget, whereas we have a large surplus. We did a good job in making sure that the things that the citizens needed and wanted is still there. There is still money in this budget for essential employees. Certain things were asked for in the beginning, asking for additional monies for 2 employees to be added to the street department. Those things were kicked down the line a little bit, taken off the agenda. I'm glad that we are working towards getting the hazard pay for our staff, because that item was put on the agenda 3 times and it was moved down. And so I'm glad these are the arts of compromise. So this is something that we're going to be working on together. So the citizens will know that the budget that we will be operating off of is adequate to do the things that needs to be done for the citizens. So I don't want people leaving with a spirit of despair and gloom and doom. But the government will continue to operate. The services that the citizens deserve and need will still happen. And again, it's up to the board and the mayor to sanction those funds because they are there. So thank you all for attending. I hope that you won't make this your last time, and take a moment to go over the budget process and all the notes and things that will be offered to you so you can then have more knowledge on this process and what can be done. We have an open door policy. I think the Board of Alderpersons and also your executive branch have an open door policy. You have a phenomenal staff, employees, and police department that will continue to advocate and work on your behalf. So have a good evening. To that end, can I have a motion to end this evening's meeting, please?
Mayor, I make a motion to end today's meeting, September the 7th, 2023 at 9:09 p.m.
May we have a second?
I'll second.
Any discussions before we close down? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Okay, ayes have it. Good evening, everyone. Be safe. And
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good night.
Good night.
Have a good evening.
Night, everyone have a great night.
Good night. Good night. Good night, everybody. Good night. You guys have a good evening. Good night. Good night.